Yes! This is great.
It's finally here, folks. Welcome back to the channel. This is the brand new ultra-wide optical engine for the Pimax Crystal Super and promises to give you approximately around 140 degrees horizontal field of view. And in this video, I'm going to give you the lowdown, my first impressions. A big thank you to Pimax for sending this across, and be aware this is an engineering prototype, not a mass-produced optical engine, although it's very close to final. But I am glad to say that everything works, including the eye tracking. And if you're interested, please do stick around, stay tuned, after a quick word from VR Wave. Because they offer a tailor-made solution to your lens inserts, and they cover a wide selection of VR headsets such as the Quest series, Pimax, PSVR 2, HTC, Pico, and soon the Pimax Super as well. Now, even if you don't wear glasses, it's important to protect your lenses, and of course if you do wear glasses, then it makes it all day comfortable. You can have blue light filter, and they also account for astigmatism, nearsighted and farsightedness. So check out my 5% discount in the notes below.
Right then, folks, this is it. The first impressions of me using the ultra wide module, the optical engine, which hopefully can give up to 140 degrees field of view. And this is my very first impressions. I've no idea what it's going to look like on the image. It might look really stretched, but anyway, I'm going to go and do a discovery flight. That's probably the easy thing to do. We're going to head to San Francisco. So first of all, my first impressions are, I can definitely tell this is wider. Oh yeah, this is definitely wider. Alright, let's just settle this down. I am using TAA mode and very high settings because I want to know whether the clarity suffers or not. Right, let me just go to ready fly. And let me just center again, because it's not quite centered in the cockpit here. Hang on. There we go. Alright, so this is it. I'm not quite sure why it's saying cannot exit aircraft. Right, so without any shadow of a doubt, this feels a lot wider. I mean, that's kind of obvious really to say that, but yeah, no, I can see the entire cockpit here. Now, one of the things I was a bit worried about was sacrificing some clarity, you know, but this does look extremely sharp. But I can tell you straight away, which is a surprise to me. Let me just get rid of the autopilot's on for some reason. There we go. For some reason, I actually can tell that they have obviously sacrificed the overlap. I can feel it. I can immediately feel it in this headset. Okay? Now the thing is, I'm going to do a separate video where I'm going to fly for 3 hours to see if that binocular overlap causes any eye strain. Okay? Because the thing is, this is the first impressions, but what is it like over a long session? That's the thing I really want to know, and I can't tell you that in this first impressions, obviously. So stay tuned for that video. I'll do it pretty much right after this, so you will see it this week, I promise you. So in terms of clarity, it still looks as good, which is an absolute relief. Yeah, the clarity is still the same. The field of view, yeah, you can absolutely tell. And in this video, I'm going to give you my full figures. So watch out for that at the end. I'm going to use a field of view program. Can't remember what it's called. Is it WinFOV or whatever it is? I will test my actual figures so I can tell you what it is. In the normal 50 ppd optical engine, my field of view figures are 126 degrees. Now this feasibly can go up to 140 degrees horizontal. So I'm really curious to see what kind of numbers I get here. So I'm also looking at the panel here. It looks really nice, this panel. Hardly any Mura again. It could be because, you know, Pimax has sent me this. And please bear in mind, this is not a final production model. This is sort of handmade, apparently, in their factory. but it's very close to final. So much so that the eye tracking is working as well. But God, yeah, this, you know what this reminds me of? This actually reminds me of the 8KX. It's kind of like almost 8KX at not crazy wide field of view mode, but maybe like just a little bit lower than large, but with crystal super visuals, you know, aspheric lenses, 50 ppd. And yeah, I must admit, as my eyes are adjusting, this feels, it does feel incredible. I mean, yeah, this is very, very, very impressive. I am pushing the sim, I'm recording using full native resolution raster performance of that GPU, which is a 5090 in this case. I'm not using DLSS 4, and I reckon, you know what, for this kind of thing, VFR flying, this is something else. But it's interesting though, the first thing I noticed, that my very first thought was, I can tell the binocular overlap has definitely been sacrificed. It reminds me a little bit of the big screen beyond, actually. You know, you can definitely tell. And if I look forward and then look left and right with my eyes to the edge of the lens, you can see both lenses overlapping. Now I think it's worth bearing in mind that I don't suffer too badly with a bad binocular overlap. It doesn't really affect me like it does other people. But I will do a 3-hour test with this tonight, and I'll post that video as soon as possible. But first impressions, one thing I'm really surprised about, I probably shouldn't be, because it's not like they're using different lenses, but I'm guessing they will need a different warping profile for this. I'm not sure. Let me just move myself again. But there's just no warping that I can see right to the edge. Yeah, there's just no warping, both vertically and horizontally. And in terms of chromatic aberration, just not an issue at all for me in this so far. Like, if I look, I'm looking at that pillar here, I'm looking at this, and if I look over there at the at the bridge, that's not the Golden Gate Bridge, that's over there, but there's a bridge here. I'm looking at that with my sort of head, but with my eyes looking to the corner, I can see the slightest bit of bluing there on that edge, but that's really at the far edges, and it's actually hurting my eyes to look that far to the right for any length of time. You wouldn't fly like that, okay? I tell you what, it gives you a bigger sense of being there, that is for sure. I've got a major sort of sense of presence in this cockpit because I can see so much of it. And it's funny because I don't think this is a huge difference in terms of the figures on paper. It's about 10 degrees or more. Probably not more than probably 12 degrees. I'm not quite sure. I will give you my figures at the end of this video, which I'm not going to take too much longer on this, because in a nutshell, my conclusion so far, my first impressions, is surprisingly very, very positive. That extra field of view in a flight sim, it is very welcome, I've got to admit. And I'm not really a field of view guy, but the great thing about the Crystal Super is you have both. You have amazing clarity, but you also have fantastic field of view. And this separates this a lot better from the Dream Air, which is coming out at some point, who knows, hopefully sooner rather than later. It separates this even from the Somnium VR1. It separates it from anything. You now have a 50 ppd panel with an immense field of view, and it really shows. I call it the wow factor. And when you put this on with the brightness, the QLED panel, the local dimming, 50 ppd, the comfort, and now this insane field of view. That's a bug, by the way, this heat blur thing. Forgot about that. That's a Sim Update 3 issue. But yeah, it all comes together to create something incredible here. This is really, really good. I must admit, I am impressed with this. And I've got to admit, folks, I came into this kind of expecting to be negative. And that's simply because I have tried their wide field of view lenses before, and that review, I'm going to go under the Golden Gate Bridge. I've just got to do it. Bitchy and Betty's not going to be very happy with me. Now, I think, I'm just trying to look at the sweet spot here. I do feel... Let me just shut her up a minute. I won't do that because it's annoying. Sweet spots, for whatever reason on this device, isn't as good vertically. So what I mean by that is, if I look completely forward like that, and then look down with my eyes, the text here is a little bit blurry. Unless I just move slightly and then it's in focus. In terms of the horizontal sweet spot, that's actually really good. I can read. I can still keep looking this way. Sorry, my head is pointing that way, but my eyes are looking here. I can read this, and I can read up to here. So all of that. And that's all the way from the prop RPM to this over there. But in terms of the vertical sweet spot, it's just a little bit less than the normal 50p PD version. Okay. Personally for me, that's not an issue. But I think the sweet spot is slightly compromised. It's not quite as good. But the thing is, in my opinion, the normal optical engine is already very good when it comes to sweet spot. So this just sacrifices a little bit of that vertical sweet spot. I'm not quite sure why, but you do have to get this a little bit more dialed in with your eyes. So bear that in mind. But wow, just I feel like as I'm looking out at this aircraft that I'm really looking over the sea here. And there's more screen for my eyes to enjoy, if that makes sense. And it kind of feels like I've got a huge window appearing in front of me into a world of just fantastic visuals. That's kind of how I can describe it here. You know, for a this is not mass production, as I've just said. Considering this is sort of an engineering sample, this looks bloody good. Like, the panel looks amazing. I don't see any dead pixels. The mirror, I think is, yeah, it's actually a bit better than the one I've got. The actual normal optical engine. There's hardly any mirror in this. Right, now that I'm lower, something else has become quite apparent, and that is the sense of speed. Oh yes. The sense of speed is definitely emphasized here. It's just because I've got that extra bit of vision in my peripheral vision. Just kind of makes sense, really. And I can just sense that I'm really kind of going very quick here at almost treetop height. This is great fun. I should have used a different aircraft for this, to be fair. Probably should have used the F-18 Hornet or something. Whee! Yes! This is great. Yeah, no, I can definitely, absolutely tell here the difference in speed. Oh, this is so much fun. I know what I'm going to be doing all night tonight. Wow. Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is good. Let's go in between these buildings. Oh, my God. That was a stupid idea. What am I doing? I'm in a motion rig, you idiots. I'll probably end up crashing badly. Whew. Oh, wow, I'm having fun, guys, and that kind of says it all to me. I always say if I feel a bit giddy about something new, that's always a good sign. I think the only thing I want to know now, apart from my actual numbers, my field of view numbers, which is going to come any minute now, is what is this like over a long session? If I'm in this for 3 hours, is it going to be okay for my eyes? And that's the next test I'm going to do. But first impressions, massive thumbs up from me. Now we truly have a headset that has fantastic clarity and fantastic field of view. Pretty amazing. Very, very cool. Right, anyway, I'm now going to go into a program which is going to test my field of view figures. So I'll see you there in a moment, and then we'll end this first impressions video. Okay folks, so this is it. We're going to test our vertical and horizontal field of view numbers, starting with the vertical rather. Here we go then. 90, oh god, wow, yeah, hang on, let me just push it a bit further in, because I think I can get a bit more. 102 maybe. No, I'm going to go for 100, I think. Yeah, I'm happy with that. So, oh, hang on, that's the wrong button. So it's 100 for me. Let's now try the important figure, which is the horizontal. Here we go then. Before I was getting 126. So hopefully I'm going to get 136, but I don't know. Looking at this now, I'm not sure I'm going to get that. Still looking ahead. 130. Okay. 130. I'm going to press it in a little bit. 134. So there we are, folks. That is my results with the ultra wide optical engine. My vertical field of view is 100 degrees and my horizontal field of view figures is 134, which, let me tell you, is friggin' amazing actually, because they are real figures, you know, and some people will get even more than that, some people get less than that, but for me, in conclusion, that is impressive. That's the most field of view I've ever tested, apart from the 8KX. I could do some of these tests as well if you want, but maybe do that in another separate video. But at 3 meters away, can I read that bottom line? PEZOLCFTD. Yeah, no problem. The clarity is excellent in this. So that will do, folks. Thank you for watching. Please let me know in the comments, what would you like to see with this new ultra wide optical engine? I'll do some DCS World. I am going to do a 3-hour test, because for me that's going to be the important factor. Is this new optical engine, with the lack of binocular overlap, okay over a long session? Is it going to cause eye strain? Is it going to cause any sort of weirdness or headaches? If it passes that test, then it's looking good, that's for sure. Thank you for watching. As always, please feel free to subscribe, and I'll see you again very soon. Take care, and bye for now.